Hello everyone, thank you for joining again. This is Japanese with Kelly and today's topic is the rainy season. The rainy season in Japan lasts usually for around 1 month, maybe 1.5 months. And it depends where you are when it starts. So for example, in Okinawa, it starts in the middle of May. For me, it has just started 2 or 3 days ago. So we will gonna have the rainy season for at least some more days, I think. Anyway, today I'm gonna teach you some words and vocabulary and phrases and maybe also some grammar, which you need to be able to understand a little more about Japan and its rainy season. First of all, the word for the rainy season is called tsuyu. Tsuyu. Try to repeat it. Tsuyu, tsuyu. About the kanji. Tsuyu has 2 kanji. The first one is the Japanese plum, ume. And the second one is rain, ame. However, you don't say ume ame, but tsuyu. So this is a specific word. But sometimes it happens that the kanji might not make sense at the first look at the kanji. However, there is a reason. So maybe you have already learned about how kanji are pronounced. Like there are several readings, like the on reading and the kun reading. On reading stands for the Chinese pronunciation, it's not the original Chinese pronunciation, so it does not 100% sound like Chinese, but it's derived from that. So that's called on yomi or on reading. Yomi comes from to read, yomu. And the Japanese pronunciation or the Japanese reading is called kun yomi. So usually a kanji has one kunyomi and one onyomi, one Japanese, traditional Japanese pronunciation and one derived Chinese pronunciation. But sometimes there are other pronunciations or more, or not only one Japanese and one Chinese, maybe several ones. And sometimes if you combine the 2 kanji, they have completely different reading, completely different way of pronouncing them. And tsuyu is one of them. So how does this happen? So most probably it was like that the word existed for a long time, but there were no kanji that were fitting. Like Japan didn't have a writing system for a long time, and they got it from China basically. So sometimes it happens that the pronunciation and the kanji don't necessarily fit 100%, and tsuyu is one of these examples. Also like sushi. Sushi, the kanji for sushi are longevity and to manage something, which doesn't really fit, right? But it's when you eat sushi, it's for a celebration. And, if you celebrate something, usually you're happy about it. And something which is auspicious is, of course, to be able to live long. Anyway, back to the main topic. Sorry, I really like to talk about all different kinds of things which pop up in my mind. Back to the topic. So we have tsuyu, which is the rainy season, ume, which is the Japanese plum, and ame, which is the rain. And when I say ame, take care that it starts high and then goes low in a pitch. Because ame, so low and then high, is a candy. Ame. Ame. Ame ga furu. It rains. Furu is the dictionary form of the word for raining, or not only for raining, but basically any kind of weather where it pours. So you can use it for rain, you can use it for hail, you can use it for snow, something like that. So basically furu means something falls down, but not like, like the wallet falls down or something, but just for weather. Ame ga furu, the dictionary form. If you want to say it more politely, then you use 降ります. Mas is the mas form. The mas form is used if you want to be more polite. 雨が降ります. It rains. There are even specific words for the start of the rainy season and for the end of the rainy season. The start is called 梅雨入り. 梅雨入り. So the 入り comes from 入れ or いる to enter. So we are entering the rainy season by saying 梅雨入り. It's the start of the rainy season. And the end is called 梅雨明け. 明け, maybe you have heard about it before, could mean to open. For example, ドアを開ける, open a door. But in this context here, the kanji means bright. So that at the end of the rainy season, we have less clouds, so it tends to be brighter. And the ake, you might have heard it from 明けましておめでとうございます, which is a greeting for the new year. 梅雨入り, 梅雨明け. So, some more words. てるてる坊主. てるてる坊主. You must be wondering what that could be. It's actually a doll for warding off rain. But I heard that if you put a face on the doll, it means actually that more rain will come. But usually when I see these dolls, they usually have a face. So, I don't know. And then sometimes people if you put it upside down, it has a different meaning, but apparently it also depends on where you are in the region. Anyway, you can make these dolls by yourself. It's pretty easy. Just have a head and, you can use a piece of cloth or maybe a handkerchief or maybe some paper, whatever you feel like. You can try it. Teru teru bozu. So that's the meaning, but at each single part of this word, what does it mean? Teru teru comes from tereru, which means to turn red. So when you feel oh my god, I did something stupid, and then you're oh my god, you're kind of embarrassed and your face turns red. That's teru teru. Tereru. And bozu usually refers to a Buddhist monk because the characteristics of Buddhist monk is that they have a shaved head. So there is also the word bozu atama. Atama is the head. Bozu atama, somebody who has a shaved head. And these dolls basically, they don't have hair, so. Then the next word, beta beta. Beta beta. That's kind of sticky, and you usually use it for your skin in the rainy season because the humidity level is high. And I remember the first time I came to Japan, we went to Tokyo and to Tokyo Tower, and it was summer, just like now. And the humidity level is so high. So if you go inside a building, they have all the air conditioning, everything, that's not a problem. But when you go back out, then you immediately feel that your hands become kind of sticky and kind of humid, and this feeling is called beta beta in Japanese. 肌はベタベタします. Hada is the skin, shimasu to do. So the skin does beta beta, the skin does sticky. So that's the pronunciation. Usually there are lots of words or verbs or nouns or adjectives also that are combined with shimasu, to do. So 肌はベタベタします. My skin feels sticky. So how do you call the air if it's humid, if it's damp? ジメジメする. ジメジメする. Again, we have the suru. Suru would be a dictionary form. If you want to be more polite, then you say します. ジメジメします. ジメジメ does not only refer to the air, but it can also mean a gloomy or depressing feeling. Because, of course, if it rains all the time, it's kind of dark outside and then you start to feel depressed or gloomy. Then, the air could also be called 蒸し暑い. 蒸し暑い. Mushiatsui basically has two parts. Mushi comes from musu, to steam, to damp steam, and atsui means hot. So mushiatsui is a really hot and humid air. The word for humidity itself is shikke. Shikke. 湿気が多いです。The humidity is high. 多い means a lot. 湿気が多いです。Well, what do you do in Japan then? Well, you could try and get the dehumidifier. Or you just switch on the air conditioning because most of the air conditionings also have included a dehumidifier function. So dehumidifier in Japan, in English is called 除湿機。除湿機。The 除 means to remove. 湿 is the humidity, and 機 stands for machine. So a machine that removes humidity. Well, that's a dehumidifier. Why do we need that? Well, because of the mold. Mold in Japanese is kabi. Kabi. And, well, you can have kabi everywhere. You can have it in, of course, at the wall. You can have it in the bathroom, especially in the bathroom. Because the Japanese bathrooms are usually unit baths, which is like, one I would say plastic room. It's completely covered with like plastic, and then it's like not a normal wall, but so and the humidity rate usually is quite high in there. Of course, you can open a window, but if you open the window during the rainy season, it doesn't really matter, it doesn't really change because the humidity outside is so high. Yeah. So yeah, what you have to do is, of course, to clean nicely, and especially washing machine. I hate Japanese washing machines. Why? Because you cannot use hot water. Recently there are washing machines that heat up the water like up to 60 degrees Celsius. I'm sorry, I don't really know how much is that in Fahrenheit. 100 degrees would be like boiling temperature. And no Japanese washing machine offers this possibility. So of course, detergent that you use is gonna be quite aggressive, and the washing machine is called in Japanese sentakki. Sentakki. Sentakki could also be called sentakuki, but it's a little difficult to pronounce. So usually Japanese people say sentakki. The first two kanji, sentaku, means to wash clothing, and the ki is again the machine. Detergent is called senzai. Senzai. The sen means to wash, like in sentaku, and the zai refers to some kind. It could refer to medicine, just something chemical, basically. So chemical for washing. And I think also in the place where you live, most detergents are liquid detergents. Liquid in Japanese means ekitai. Ekitai. Ekitai senzai. Or ekitai no senzai. The other version would be powder detergent. And powder in Japanese means funmatsu. Funmatsu. So funmatsu senzai is the detergent I would suggest to use in Japan and basically everywhere, because liquid detergent tends to, get stuck inside the machine, and then it starts to get moldy and starts to get smelly. And if you want to prevent that, then I suggest to use a powder detergent. Funmatsu senzai. Alright, so that's what you can do. Of course, you could use vinegar, and well, still, it's even though my washing machine is able to use hot water, it works a little different. Like, it doesn't use hot water all the time. It's just for the first round of washing, it heats up the water to around 60 degrees. We're not really sure. You can't really see it. You cannot change and you cannot choose the temperature. What you could do, what some Japanese people or some Japanese households do, is to use the water, the hot water from the bathtub. After using it, after entering the bathtub, and the leftover water is then being used for washing the clothing. I don't really like that idea, sorry. All right. What else do we have? Another sign for, or like symbol for the Japanese rainy season is hydrangea. In Japanese, it's called ajisai. Ajisai. It has all kinds of colors, like blue, violets, whitish, pink, some are even green. Depends on the soil and also on the time. Like the color changes by the time. So in the beginning it's blue, then it becomes violet and a pink, and in the end some of them are, that's how the color change happens. For the kanji, for ajisai, the first kanji is murasaki, which means violet. The second kanji stands for sun, and third kanji for flower. Makes sense, right? Flower that is violet, and well, we are hoping to see more sun after the rainy season here. What Japanese people also do during the rainy season, or when the rainy season starts, they use the plum. So that's why it's called the plum rain. Remember, tsuyu, the kanji for plum and for rain, is that it's the season for plums. They are not ripe yet, now they're green. The green plums are called ao-ume. So ao basically stands for blue, but also for blue-greenish. So everything which is not ripe is usually ao, blue. Ao-ume, green plum. And the green plum is used for making plum wine. Umeshu. Umeshu. It's not that difficult to make. If you have the plums, if you have the ume, if you have strong alcohol, if you have sugar or maybe honey, you can simply make it. You just have to remove the stem, wash it nicely, dry it, and put it in a jar, mix it together with the sugar and the alcohol. Like I think in Japan it's like how much? 35% or something like that. I'm not really sure. I made it like 2 years ago, and since then I haven't really made any more plum wine. And then every day you shake the jar, or we've been using here like it's made of glass, and it's a huge container basically. You can fit like 5 liters inside maybe. And so basically what you do after putting everything together, every day you shake the container until the sugar gets dissolved. And then, depending on how much time you want and how strong the flavor you want to have, you let it rest for 1 year or for 6 months, at least 6 months, but usually it's suggested to have it for 1 year. So 1 year later, you can then try your own plum wine. Yes. All right. So that's the words I wanted to explain. I will read all the words to you once more and try to repeat after me. Tsuyu. Tsuyu, the rainy season. Ume. Ume, the Japanese plum. Ame. Ame, rain. Ame ga furu. Ame ga furu. It rains. Tsuyu iri. Tsuyu iri, start of the rainy season. Tsuyu ake. Tsuyu ake, the end of the rainy season. Teru teru bozu. Teru teru bozu, the doll for warding off rain. Bozu. Bozu, the Buddhist monk. Bozu atama. Bozu atama, shaved head. ベタベタ。ベタベタ。sticky。肌はベタベタします。肌はベタベタします。The skin feels sticky. ジメジメする。ジメジメします。Some is humid, damp, gloomy, depressed. 蒸し暑い。蒸し暑い。It's hot and humid. 湿気。湿気。humidity. 湿気が多いです。湿気が多いです。The humidity is high. 除湿機。除湿機。dehumidifier. カビ。カビ。mold. 洗濯機。洗濯機。The washing machine. 洗剤。洗剤。detergent. 粉末。粉末。powder. 液体。液体。liquid. アジサイ。アジサイ。hydrangea. 青梅。青梅。green, not ripe plum. 梅酒。梅酒。plum wine. Thank you very much for listening and for watching if you're either watching it on the YouTube channel or on my podcast. Thank you very much. This is Kara from Japanese with Kelly, and thank you very much for joining me today. If you have any questions about Japanese language, do not hesitate to contact me. Just leave a comment or whatever to let me know if you have any feedback or any questions. じゃあまたね。お疲れ様でした。またね。バイバイ。